All right. Dave Molyneux, my pal, I missed you last week. How's it going?
Ah, it was weird without you, man. It was weird without you. I had a separate interview and it felt like cheating.
Right? It kind of does. It kind of does, but it's all good. I was even when I was in on my vacation, I was like, I guess I could I got my iPad with me. Like maybe we could do like a real like this is the Commonwealth podcast, right? A little Jamaica, a little England. We could do
You normally
this.
say from all over the world, right?
Right. So yeah, so it's an easy one to come back to though, like for this episode because we're doing the incoming for May. It's already May. Incoming. Yeah, so April was a little scarce, it felt.
Yeah, yeah. It did feel a little
May
bit odd. May is looking interesting.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder we've got probably a few that we're awaiting to be delivered to our doorstep that we're on our list, sharing them. Uh you know what quick tangent. I
Yeah.
promised I wouldn't do one, but I didn't get my War of Kings that was supposed to arrive in April. I put it on my
Really?
list and it's out of stock already. Yeah, so
No. You pre-ordered it.
that's why I pre-ordered it in March of 2022.
From who?
Amazon.
Strike 'em off.
I know. I know. It's not easy for us to get online other places in Canada yet.
Of course.
Like I've done the one from the States a few times that's often promoted.
Yeah.
In stock trades. It's a really good site if you are in the United States. They got great discounts. It's always worthwhile to check it out. Sounds like we're sponsors for them. I'm not. But yeah, it's hard to sometimes get stuff here unless it's on Amazon. And that's where you get like the 40% off. Like it's hard
really?
to turn down a 40% off. Yeah,
God.
it's hard.
UK Amazon doesn't take much off at all. I always get them from someone else. Speedy
Where do you get
Hen.
them from?
Speedy
Yeah,
Hen
there you
from the
shout 'em
UK.
out, shout 'em out.
I get
Yeah.
virtually everything from Speedy Hen. They're the best prices. We're not sponsored by them, but I recommend
Hopefully
them.
we can be. Yeah, you know what? It's always good to share though the tips of how to get the books that are coming out because, like you said, sometimes you're surprised, and in my case, what I ordered didn't come out.
Yeah, that's
So
not right. I've seen Amazon do that a few times, and it's stuff I've
yeah,
cancelled from them. But what I will say actually, we'll run the link to it on the notes for the show. But if you jump on our Discord, people do recommend places where there are sales
okay,
in our
good.
Discord chat. So it's well worth jumping on that, and people do share stuff. And thank you to everyone on our Discord and keeping it going and keeping it reels.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So you got your 5?
got my 5, man.
All right. I think last week I went first. It's your turn.
Oh, okay, so just to reiterate, this is our top 10 essentially choices for the books we're looking forward to most, the collected editions we're most looking forward to that are coming out in May. That is based on mainstream release dates, which is primarily kind of like Amazon type thing. So in some comic shops, some of them are released 2 weeks earlier, so some of them will be out now or soon.
Okay. Yes, that's true. So I think in the case of Amazon,
Yeah,
not that we sound like we're sponsored by everybody.
we're
No.
anti-sponsoring.
But they're like a week after when it's released in a store.
Oh, really?
In our case here, it's a week. So you never order from
Nice.
Amazon? Good for you.
Oh, I don't like them. Sorry, Jeff, but you're a bell end. Anyway, so first up for me, I have selected. Now, I don't normally do volume 2s unless it's like the end of a run, or I don't do middle books.
Sure.
But I wanted to do this one because volume 1 is still around, and I bought it on the recommendation of Brian K. Vaughan. It's Resident Alien. There is a TV series of Resident Alien. It's nothing like that. Resident Alien, the TV series, is the same basic premise, but it's completely no. It's not remotely the same thing. I think it's Alan Tudyk or Tudyk. I don't know how you pronounce his name. But it's Resident Alien Omnibus Volume 2. So Volume 1 collected. So it's a Dark Horse Omnibus. So it's a paperback book, and it collects 3 trade paperbacks worth of comics. So volume 2 just continues the series, and in this series, basically, it's an alien finds himself on Earth. He can disguise himself as a human. He looks, when outside of his disguise, he looks quite traditionally alien, the kind of the grey, big black eyes and everything. But he ends up working as a doctor in a small town, and he starts to really get quite close to the residents. He was trying to keep himself to himself, but he gradually gets more involved in their lives, and then ends up starting solving mysteries, kind of like Angela Lansbury, but from space. But there's this underlying thread in the first omnibus. So throughout the first 3 minis, that like the FBI are trying to follow his trail. They're trying to find out that there is an alien, appears to be an extraterrestrial on Earth. So where is he? And you don't want him to come on and just ruin his life, because it's a really sweet little life. Like, it's a lovely book. It's just, that's the thing. Like, it's almost like, it reminds me of Starman in that way. As you read through, as you're going through it, it's very gentle, and there's the odd little excitement moment, but it's very gentle, and it just draws you in with the characters. I absolutely love it. I just absolutely love it. So that is my first suggestion for this month. It's from Dark Horse Comics, Resident Alien Omnibus Volume 2. Resident Alien Omnibus Volume 1 is still out there, so do yourself a favour, grab both books.
Nice. And who is the writer?
The writer is Peter Hogan, with illustrations by Steve Parkhouse. I had to look that up. Cheers, Amazon.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff, mate. You done wonders.
You bellend.
So it's 352 pages, so you get a good chunk of comics in there too.
Nice. Yeah, that's a nice little set. Cool. Good call. Okay. Should I steal one from you, or should I? You know what? I won't do that.
No, do
I'm
it.
Gonna go...
I don't think you will steal one from me. I'll be interested to see if you do.
All right. I've never read this series. I've always wanted to. I've always heard good things about it. I'm a fan of this character's universe. Spider-Man 2099 from Peter David and Rick Leonardi. Was that on your list?
Nope.
Okay, good. I'm happy we're mentioning it, though,
yes,
because it's another shout-out to Peter David, who we talk about a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I've never read the series. I think maybe issues here or there as a kid, or if they've been collected in anything, but it's never been collected this way, where I think it's the whole series, cover to cover, of 2099, because they started, I think, doing trades for a little bit, and they might have gotten to...
They got really close to the end, and then they were about 7 issues short or 10 issues short or something like that,
right?
Yeah.
So it's never been... it's always something that's there, but it's like hit or miss how you're going to be able to collect it. Now it's finally available in the format that we all love it in, the omnibus. And it's really cool, because the second volume to it, which was Peter David's run in like the Marvel Now time, which was a really fun, still another really fun run.
Yeah.
Him writing that, like, it's good he stuck with the character that he created, right?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Yeah. So Spider-Man, a version of Spider-Man in the future, and I'm really excited that in the of course, just in time for the Spider-Verse movie, but Miguel O'Hara is going to be playing a major role in it.
Yes.
So I love when the Spider-Verse, everyone gets their propers, as they say.
You never know what you're going to get either, because that's one of the great things about some of the alternate universe Spider-Men as well, is that they're quite different. Like, they were quite smart about how they did it. When the idea was to modernize Spider-Man when they released 2099. So it was to give people new books to jump on with no continuity behind it, when Marvel had been around for, what was it at that point? 30 years, I think?
Yeah. It was early, 90? 91 this came out?
92, I think?
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Sounds right. I remember that glossy cover.
Yeah, the kind of metallic finish around the edges. I wonder if they're going to do that on the omnibus. They should.
I hope so. You got to.
Yeah.
Why not?
It's cheesy, but do it. They should do that more often. When it's a 90s series, they should make it like a scratchy, smelly, holographic, whatever it is, cover.
Something, right? Yeah.
Do you know those chromium ones? The metal ones?
Mm-hmm.
They were cool. I don't care what anyone says. They're unnecessarily expensive, but I love them.
I think the problem with it, I think everybody thought they were cool. That's why they sold like crazy. Like, I wanted them as a kid. It worked.
And then they were annoying.
I I think it's just when it's overdone where we've lost the special
Yeah,
of it.
yeah.
Once you take away what made it special, you look back with the fondness is not quite so fond. It's like, wow, they started doing that to everything. Whereas for a while it was special issues or something that was going to be impactful story wise. Whether it was a good or bad story, it was an impactful moment,
Yeah.
right? And then all of a sudden everything. I remember an Avengers cover. I don't know if it was with Avengers crossover with X-Men, the
Blood Ties.
Blood Ties. I don't know if they had a chromium cover in that
Yeah.
one.
Is she
Or
369? I think.
Right? 369 chromium cover, like that's weird.
That was a terrible story as well. Yeah, they climaxed on Chrome. That doesn't sound right. But which is what R2D2 does.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just a rumor. I don't know what they get up to when no one's looking. It's none of our business, and I'm very open-minded. Anyway, point being, they should do one on the Omnibus. I think one of the weirder ones they did was, do you remember when they did Eclipso, The Darkness Within, or no, the Eclipso, just the Eclipso series. He got his own series, the DC villain, and they put a gem on the front. So like he's holding a gem, so it stuck out, so it would stick in the comics that it's in the comic boxes, so it would kind of damage the other comics. It's like, what an obnoxious feature that is.
Yeah. So yeah, it became too much of a novelty while it was happening, and it lost its novelty.
Yeah.
Right.
But still, it'd be nice to see one of those on an omnibus. You don't see that.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure, especially the callback to something like 2099. We bought it for that, right? It would be good just to kind of be self-aware, unless it's really expensive to make the cover that's the thing, right? But you've read this series, right?
I have, yeah.
Good?
It's the first 25 issues are really good fun. They're not necessarily going to rock your world. Maybe they will. I don't know. But they're good fun. And Rick Leonardi was the co-creator of Miguel O'Hara, who's the main character. He's on it for most of those issues. And I love Rick Leonardi's artwork. And after that, he drops off. And then some of the artists change. It's Andrew Wildman for a bit. Who's like, Andrew Wildman used to draw Transformers in Marvel UK in the 80s. And he jumped over to the American series eventually. And I liked his art. But it's not Rick Leonardi, is it? You know, so it was still good, but then it started to weave its way into like the crossover stuff with One Nation Under Doom and some of the other weird stuff that was going on around that time as it edged towards the end of the 2099 universe. Essentially, they are going to release X-Men 2099 later in the year as well, so it looks as if they're going to start collecting these up. I imagine they're going to do Doom 2099. I don't know what they're going to do about all the other tat, because the other stuff was not good.
Yeah, I haven't. I've heard the Doom was really good. X-Men and Spider-Man.
Okay, yeah.
Were what people would kind of talk about. What else was there 2099
Hulk,
for?
There was a new character called Ravage who was created by Stan Lee and Paul Ryan. I think originally by Stan Lee and John Byrne. They were going to do World of Tomorrow, Stan Lee and John Byrne, and they fell out because John Byrne
falls down.
I think the actual story behind it is on Byrne Robotics website, but I think it is. But yeah, so it was gonna be that, and I think it was just gonna be like a graphic novel, so like a new story in bookshelf format. And in the end, it evolved into this 2099. So they launched with Spider-Man, Doom, Punisher, and Ravage, and then they added X-Men, Ghost Rider. Memory's a bit hazy at this point, but yeah, expect reading order action on the way.
Nice. That's cool. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't read it. It's one of those omnis that I was like, okay, I gotta pick that up. I never thought that would be collected that way, and to see it a full series, Peter David, Marvel in the 90s from Peter David, can't go wrong.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Exactly. I will say one thing, just as a word of warning. So like the whole 2099 saga wraps up in the 8-issue 2099 World of Tomorrow miniseries. I think it was due to just being ongoing, but sales weren't good. So technically, it's not kind of the end when you get to that point. There are still 8 issues more, but I think they're going to release them eventually. Okay. Just don't want to sell anyone up the river.
Got you. Is that coming in for you? Are you picking that up?
Yeah. Yeah. I think at that time, I think I liked Spider-Man 2099 more than Peter Parker.
Cool. Okay,
So,
that's cool.
yeah, definitely. It's a good shout. Cool.
Your turn. Take it away.
I've just realised I haven't read any of the books I'm recommending.
Me too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's funny.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, I've read bits of some.
I've only read maybe one, if
Right.
I list it.
Well, I mean, this one's no exception. I did have a trade paperback from the spin-off series of this, but for all my Ras
I
and
know what it
Frassum
is.
Alan Moore,
Okay, no, I don't know what it is.
it's the Tom Strong compendium. So
Mm,
Alan Moore in the what was it, the late 90s, early 2000s, he bailed on Rob Liefeld's company. So he was writing Supreme, which was a Superman knockoff character essentially, for him. And there is a brilliant story as to why he left that title, which is on Cartoonist Kayfabe. So there's an interview with Rob Liefeld on there, and it is, even if you look up Rob Liefeld, Alan Moore, Kayfabe, you will find it. It's fantastic. It's so long though, and Rob Liefeld does an impression of Alan Moore as well, which is hilarious. The whole situation is insane. But he left, and he essentially took those characters, rebranded them, and launched ABC Comics for DC, who he claimed to hate. So I call bullshit, Alan. Anyway,
no, you can't say anything about Alan Moore, Dave.
our beloved Alan Moore, untouchable from Northampton. Alan Moore.
Untouchable. Yeah.
So they did top 10 recently, which I
Yeah.
did pick up as well because I did like that series. I read the first 12 issues, but I didn't read the later stuff. Tom Strong, they did Tom Strong. So in this book, it's 36 issues. It's the whole series, I think, of Tom Strong.
That's cool. That's cool.
But there was a spin-off series called Tom Strong's Terrific Tales. And I think there was another series called Terra Obscura, which carried on a story from there. I'm not 100% on that. So I think there's going to be a second volume. But this volume is like the main
story.
Tom Strong story. So it's art by Chris Sprouse. It's written by Alan Moore. Like I say, it's 952 pages in paperback. So it's like an omnibus level book, but a much more affordable price.
Debating. I'm a kind of a sucker for a compendium.
Yeah, I love
As we speak and record, I have a compendium on the way in transit.
What is it?
Milestone Volume 2.
Ah, cool. Okay.
I've read parts of the first one, and I enjoy. Dwayne McDuffie's good.
Yeah.
He's a good writer.
Plus, it collects the Superman crossover event.
I've always wanted to know what that was about
Me
since
too.
I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I just remember seeing those covers. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Why are all the Superman characters with these characters? And now we get to read it.
Was it Worlds Apart? Was it called Worlds Apart?
Worlds Collide.
Worlds Collide. I think, and I could be wrong, I might be mixing it up with another issue of that Superman run, but I think, talking of gimmick covers, I'm fairly sure one of those issues had Lobo in it, fighting Superman. Mm-hmm. Feel free to correct me in the comments if I've got this completely wrong. But I think
you're right.
Get transfers, and you could transfer Lobo and Superman fighting each other on a cover, wraparound cover of Metropolis.
I had that.
Did you?
I had that.
No,
I did. I think I still have an unwrapped version of it in one of my long boxes.
Oh my god!
If maybe in the next episode I'll pull it out.
Okay, and you'll go. It wasn't Worlds Collide at all, Dave. Shut up.
It wasn't Worlds Collide?
I don't know. When you find it, you'll go. No, it wasn't.
I think it was.
Was it?
I think it was Worlds Collide.
Right.
But I don't. I remember that issue. Because it was kind of like a one and done story.
Ah.
Like it was Lobo coming over to just fight Superman, battle him out, and I think a lot of it was that cover was again gimmick covers. Bought that, came with a whole set of stickers.
Yeah. That
you can peel off.
Oh, you peel them off.
You can like position arms. It came with like. It was so detailed.
I thought it was transfers.
It were like little stickers that you can move over.
Oh.
They were kind of like that.
Okay.
But then they also gave you like a torso with arms. It was cool. It was a lot of fun.
Damn.
Yeah.
Can we have that? Can we have an omnibus with whatever that is, with that on the cover, please? Thanks, DC. Good night.
Make your own cover.
Yeah, make your own cover.
So Tom Strong. Okay. I'm tempted with the top 10. You had that nice video that you put together. I was like, oh, I want one.
What's
Oh
that?
no, Dave's gonna make the top 10
Oh,
compendium
yeah.
you made. I'm
Oh, that
like,
was embarrassing.
why?
I
No,
hate
not at
doing that.
all.
I feel like I'm dancing for Instagram, and I hate Instagram now.
I, you know what? As I'm biased, but you did a nice enough job that made me say, well, maybe I want one of those. That looks like it might be nice. So it worked.
Even though
And
I clearly
I
took
know
the
the
piss.
videos you're making a lot of the time. So I still am like, hey, that's that. I want that. So good job. All right, we on number two for me?
We're on your number 2.
All right. Another book that I've never read, but I'm excited to read it because of the creative team and the main character involved, and that's Superman Space Age from Mark Russell and Mike Allred. Don't know much about it. I'll read the description to you. I don't know if you
Do it.
know or read
A
anything
little
about
bit,
it.
yeah.
Okay. So it's not in continuity from the sounds of it, which
You're
is
right.
good for anybody who just wants to pick it up and read a Superman story that's from a good creative, interesting creative team. Meet Clark Kent, a young reporter who just learned that the world will soon come to an end. Crisis on Infinite Earths, I guess this precedes, and there is nothing he can do to save it. Sounds like a job for his alter ego, Superman. After years of standing idle, the young man from Krypton defies the wishes of his fathers to come to the world as the first superhero of the space age. As each decade passes and each new danger emerges, he wonders if this is the one that will kill him and everyone he loves. Superman realizes that even good intentions are not without their backlash as the world around him transforms into a place as determined to destroy itself as he is to save it.
Ooh.
Sorry, I messed up at the end.
Nah,
Yeah.
it's all good.
Um,
Look,
I don't know how much of Mark Russell's books you've read.
I've read 3.
Okay, how did you like them?
I didn't.
I love you, Dave.
Everyone's praising him and saying how clever and satirical his writing is, but I haven't liked a single book. There was one he did which was Not All Robots, I think, for AWA, and it had Mike
Okay.
Diodato art, and I was really looking forward to that, but I didn't like it. I think it's up for an
So what?
award, so like I might just be in the minority
Yeah.
again.
Um, I read his Flintstone stuff. I was surprised by
Oh,
it. I'm
I
like,
heard that
oh,
was good. Is it good?
it was good. It was well done. It was done in a like it depends on what you're expecting, right? And
Yeah.
he takes the Flintstones and throws in like politics and commentary on stuff. Like just kind of does it in
Oh.
a modernized way, but it was well done. What I did read from him that I wasn't aware that it was the same writer at the time was when me and Daph went to Mocha Fest. She found I forgot who the publisher is now, but his book called God is Disappointed in You, which is a biblical satire,
Yeah.
but that's actually pretty good because
Oh, I nearly got
having
that book.
it's a really interesting take because someone could read it and be like, this is sacrilege, but it's just a comedic kind of boiled down version of what actually takes place in a very easy to read version, and it's not inaccurate.
What
That's
takes
the
place
thing.
in terms of
The Bible,
the
like the
Bible?
Bible
Right,
story,
right, right.
right? It's not inaccurate. So if someone were to be like, "Yeah, that's not true," it's like, look it up, it's there. I did that when I read it, but it was so well done and clever, um, that it makes me kind of think, okay, what's he gonna do with Superman? So it could be, I don't know. I like Mike Allred. I like the idea of a Superman story that's self-contained. Haven't had one of those in a while, so I'm down for it. I don't know if you were aware of Space Age coming out, or
I've
if
read
it
the first issue.
and
Because I sometimes I do a little tester just to see if I like where it's going. I love Mike Allred. I absolutely love Mike Allred. There was a point in
yeah.
time where I would just go, "What's wrong with this guy's art?" And then I got older and went, "You're an idiot. It's awesome. I love it."
Same thing happened to me. Same thing happened to me.
What was the tipping point for you that made you go, "No, wait, it's great"?
It might have been Silver Surfer.
Oh, of course.
There was something else as well because I know he had done Fantastic Four with Matt Fraction. I just knew that his stuff
Yeah.
was always kind of stylized or in its own little world. It always felt like.
It feels retro, but when you compare it to actual old school art, it's not really. So it's like it's like a version of retro.
It's it's Mike Allred.
It's Mike Allred. So
Yeah,
iZombie by Mike Allred, I read, and that was the tipping point for me. And if that is coming out later in the year, again in omnibus format, and it's so good, and the coloring's different as well, so it looks like it's kind of animated. It's got that weird. I can't explain it. I'll explain it when I'll no doubt talk about it when it hits that point. Spoiler for a future incoming. But yeah, I love his art. Mark Russell, story-wise, so it's basically Space Age is completely out of continuity. Forget any crisis type stuff over. It's just or whatever. It's just set in the 60s era, I think, basically.
Okay.
So it's set in like the Space Age, and if I remember rightly, he's talking to JFK about whatever, progressing things. And then I kind of lost interest through the first issue and stopped reading it. I think there were jokes that I could see were jokes, but I'm really hard to please when it comes to funny stuff. It's got to be just really dark, or it's not funny. So I don't really watch comedies or anything because I just go, okay. So
Dave doesn't want to be happy.
No.
Just comic books make him happy.
Yeah, that's it.
It's the only thing that makes him go wee.
Apart from Police Academy 2, got a soft spot, but yeah, not really. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, sorry, I heard some really good things about it. It might be one to stick with. I don't know. I think at the time, because I was trying to assess what I wanted to pick up and didn't, it just didn't hold on to me. But I may give it another go at some point.
Yeah. I'm always willing to give something a chance when I see that it's been completed, and you can read the entire vision of the team in one place. Where sometimes the good and the bad thing about comic books is sometimes you get the one issue that makes you go, "Ooh, I'm in.
Yeah,
I want more," and then it just takes one issue to make you go, "Yeah, I'm done."
Yeah. Well, it's only a 3-issue series, I think, as well, and they're double-sized, triple-sized issues. I think they're really big issues.
They're really big issues because I think the page count is over 200 pages.
Yeah, I think they were like 60-something pages per issue.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it was odd. It was like bookshelf format and then in a book. Like, okay.
Yeah, it almost like the page count in it is almost like a 10-issue book, 12-issue book. So I'll be interested. I like Mike Allred. I want to see him do Superman for a full story. And let's see what Mark Russell has in store.
Yeah.
People love him. He's an award winner, and
he is
highly
awards.
Yeah, so I think it'll be a safe bet for a crowd pleaser.
Yeah,
hopefully. All right, take it away, Dave.
Cool. Now this is another one I've read one issue of to preview it, and then I stopped because I wanted to read it in one sitting in the book.
Okay.
So
this is good.
This is from Image Comics. It's Chroma by Lorenzo Di Felici. I think I pronounced that right. Apologies if I haven't. I normally haven't. It's kind of a fantasy world, basically, that it's set in, almost like a medieval kind of world, but very clearly not our reality. Whether it's an alien world or just a world where we've mutated differently, or some people have. And there's clearly paranoia in this small village that people live in. It's a walled area, and they've got these creatures outside, and they're trying to kind of keep everyone safe within. But they have one of them prisoner. And then there's a big reveal at the end of issue 1 as to what this thing is, and more so than having that little element of mystery that is the key to sucking me in, not rinsing. It's the art. So Lorenzo Di Felici did the art on Robert Kirkman's Oblivion song, and that got 5 stars from me. Book 3 got 5 stars from me at the end of last year. It was on our top 20 list of the books from last year. It looked incredible. It's a beautiful book. If you look at the cover for Chroma and you don't want to buy it, there's something seriously wrong with you.
You heard it here.
Lovely. It's just so it's a gorgeous looking book. I think it's the cover to issue 2 or 3. I don't know.
So how many issues will be collected in this volume?
It's I can't tell. I think it's 5. Hang on, apologies for the clicking. I think it's okay. 5. It's more. It's 192 pages, so it seems quite big for a initial trade paperback.
Yeah, especially from Image.
Yeah.
They're usually 5.
So maybe it's 7, or I don't know. But it's volume 1, so there's more to come. which odds are will be about the same amount each time, in theory. But honestly, look it up, and I defy you to tell me that's not one of the most beautiful looking covers you've ever seen in your life.
Okay.
It's great.
What's it called?
Chroma, Kroma.
I'm going to look it up. Is that okay to look it up?
Go for it.
That is very nice. That is very, very nice.
Yeah, it's a pretty book.
I like it. So he's doing the art and the storytelling or writing. Lorenzo Di Felici. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right. Good pick.
Thank you.
Let's do a commercial break. We're halfway through our list. Let's do the commercial break.
No theme tune. I'm not your monkey. So basically, the update this week is that
I'll be the monkey.
You be the monkey. So the UK side of the Omnibus Comics guide will be appearing. Guide. What's the website? What's it called? The Omnibus Comics Guide.
Guide.
Will be appearing at, I am reading it, London UK CGF Comic Con on the 29th and 30th of April, which is, well, at the time of us recording this, it's like a week Saturday. So not far away. Be similar to what we've done before. We're just going to go down, meet people, harass them, get them to take cards, blab about the website, see what comics people want to read, see what reading orders people want to see what topics they want us to talk about. So come and have a chat with us.
It's our research and development
at
the Comic-Con.
Check it. So yeah, that's it. We're making a little appearance there. There are some excuse me, I need to mute when I do that. It's really annoying. There's more reading orders and events covered on the website. We just added an interview with Ian Richardson, who's the artist on a comic that's just started, actually, which is a Kickstarter called First Men on Mars, which is it went live literally yesterday. But Ian's a UK comics creator, so people who used to pick up the Marvel UK comics and Panini comics will probably recognise his art. To me, he's on a par with your Brian Hitch, Alan Davis level artist. To me, I think he is great. Like, his stuff is cool. So, nice. But he does big 2000 praise. AD. I love both those artists, so very big praise. He does 2000 AD. He does a lot of covers for Zenoscope. His art's incredible. So yeah, did an interview with him, which was a collector's item special, where he talks about some of the comics that have influenced him and some of the complete runs that he owns and the art on his wall that he's got. You would not believe what he's got. And also, he has a little claim to fame regarding Invincible.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
I got so many podcasts to catch up on.
Oh, man.
Can't wait.
We'll have to slow him down.
Good. No, it's good. It's good. We got even some hope. Nothing to happen. Hopefully nothing happens. I'm stuttering on my words because I don't want to jinx anything. But we've got a good interview coming up. Mm-hmm. So stay tuned for that. I don't want to spoil. Stay surprised, but it'll be a good one.
Yeah, so it's a big one.
We got good stuff coming your way.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. So yeah, advert's over. Let's get cracking.
All right. So this one is this pick is strictly based off of my bias and love for the creator, which is The Creatures Commando, new edition from J.M. DeMatteis, and the artists are Robert Kanigher and Fred Carrillo. I'm not sure if he's Hispanic or Italian, but it is what James Gunn was a big influence for his DC movie universe for Gods and Monsters. That the first chapter of the movie universe, this is going to be an animated a show. So
you say Creature Commandos?
Creature Commandos, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, lovely. I'm really looking forward. That's J.M. DeMatteis, isn't it, as well?
That's what you just said? That's what I just said.
I got so distracted by the comments, and I go like, oh, shit, I haven't answered any of the comments.
That's okay. That's okay.
Sorry, what were you talking about?
Yeah, I'm talking about just the books coming out. I don't know. J.M. DeMatteis. No, Creature Commandos, I don't really know much about it, but seeing as how he was really stoked himself, J.M. DeMatteis, for like the shout out that James Gunn gave to the series, to the characters, for those who don't know what it is, I don't know what it is, so I have to read the description because again, another book I've never read, but I'm biased to the creator. Um, in one of DC's strangest comics ever, a werewolf, a vampire, a gorgon, and Frankenstein's monster fight the German forces during World War II. Yeah, I'll watch that. I'll read that. That
Yeah.
sounds like fun.
Just the basic concept on its own is like,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. It's so simple, and it's like, yeah, why haven't we ever had that story before?
Yeah.
So absolutely, um, good creative team. I'm in.
Who'd you say the
I'd like
artist
to see
was?
Robert Kanigher.
I don't know his stuff.
I think he's of like the 70s, 80s era.
Okay.
I know that he did work with John Ostrander, if I'm not mistaken. I think they were associates or friends worked on a book together. Don't quote me though, but yeah, definitely from DC of that era.
Okay.
But JMD, love me some JMD. If you've ever listened to the Cave of Solitude, plenty of James DeMatteis episodes there. I'm sure there's more to come in the Omniverse because he's a
getting back.
great guest. Great guest.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's it. Creature Commandos.
Creature Commandos, nice. I really want that book.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll get it.
No, I'm very restrained. So okay, that is cool. Thanks for costing us money, DC. My number 4 is actually, funnily enough, another DC book, but it's DC Black Label, but it's actually an old Vertigo series. It's Sandman Mystery Theater compendium.
Never read it. Have you read it?
I read the first story arc of the trades they released a while back because they released 2 trade paperbacks and then it just stopped. So they never finished it. So I thought I'm going to hold off and wait till I have the whole run, and then there was no whole run.
Of course, DC.
Yeah, but it looks like they're getting their act together a bit now, and like they're releasing the stuff that they're saying they're going to release, and they're looking like they're going to finish stuff. But what they're going to do is release the whole series. It's by Matt Wagner, who came up recently because he did that Trinity series that you were talking about.
Right. Yeah,
he's well known for Batman. He's done some quite interesting standalone Batman stories, which the Monster Men stuff, I think. He also did that Kevin Matchstick series. What was that called? Where it's the guy with the baseball bat?
I don't know. Oh, Grendel. He's the creator
he did Grendel
as well.
Yeah. So like he's a pretty renowned comic creator. But yeah, he wrote it. But I think it's drawn by it's Guy Davis, who tends to draw more that kind of indie style. He's got like a much more kind of whimsical style, but it's a detective series starring the Sandman as in the original, the 1940s Sandman from DC. So it's set in that World War II era, I think, or 1930s. It's set,
but it's associated with Morpheus.
I think there is a connection in there. Yeah, I think there is.
How deep of a connection? Can you just read this and not?
Oh, I think you can read this standalone. I think maybe they do it kind of more for fun, maybe a one-off story, but I'm not 100%. I haven't read it. I kind of don't want to spoil it for myself, but I'm really excited to read this. So in the 90s, Sandman Mystery Theater was getting tons and tons of praise and recognition, and I was working in a comic shop, and people literally going, "You need to read this book. It's so good." And like people would come in and recommend it to other people coming in. Very indie feeling book, mostly because that Guy Davis art. But I mean, this book alone is 1,000 pages. It doesn't say on where I am how many issues that is, but it's 1,000 pages, so it's going to be a fair chunk. And I think it's going to be 2 volumes, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was it that long of a series? Okay.
Long enough, I think. Oh, it says It says Compendium 1. It says that on the cover art, so it's definitely going to be multiple.
Okay. Cool. That's the only thing is like once you start, you got to get the whole series, especially if it's good.
It should only be 2 though, I think. So it's not.
Yeah, that's fair. No, I was interested in the description of it because I'm like, another compendium from DC coming out. I keep seeing this Sandman Mystery Theater in a trade or like ads for it on what's upcoming, and I'm like, this actually sounds like it'd be fun. Yeah, like I could see myself getting sucked into the story for something like this, especially with that noir 1940s feel.
I love that stuff. I love it.
Yeah, me too.
That's part of what just the concept of that on its own. Again, it's just like core concept. I'm sucked in. It just feels like a real nice indie book that you're
Nice.
going to get some great stories from.
Cool. Glad you mentioned it, because I wouldn't have known much about the details of the book and the critical claim. Just Matt Wagner, um, pretty trustworthy choice.
Yeah.
When it comes to a comic creator, whether he's writing or drawing, you're gonna get quality. So
Yeah, definitely.
nice, good pick. Okay, I am going to go back into the Spider-Verse, and I'm going to recommend, especially again for the synergy of people who may be going to watch a movie and they want a comic book to go along to read with it. If you're gonna watch the movie, read the comic. That's gonna be my motto. Give it a
Yeah.
shot. Because
First.
people, yeah, first preferably, but if you come out of it like, man, that was fun. Like I want more of that thing. In this case, I'm gonna suggest Spider-Gwen Epic Collection, which is gonna be coming out. Jason Latour was the writer.
Because it's from her debut, right? Because she debuted in Edge of Spider-Verse.
That's right. That's right. So it's going to be her debut and all the issues that you would need to read to keep up with that character from where she is first introduced. So it's a good place to kind of to be introduced to this character that's now beloved. Like, they got sneakers out for it. Robbie Rodriguez. There you go. Jason Latour, Robbie Rodriguez. Fun character. Good take on Gwen Stacy if she had lived and she became the Spider Person of her universe. Yeah.
Isn't it Peter doesn't? Isn't it like a reversal?
It's kind of a reversal, yeah.
Right.
So the guilt aspect comes from an opposite direction, which is interesting. Yeah, it's a cool character. I like the character design. I like seeing when people cosplay as her. I like that she exists. It isn't going to be like the greatest Spider-Verse comic you've ever read, but it is fun. And for an intro comic for people who have enjoyed the Spider-Verse movies, I would recommend it to you. You might just like it. You might find yourself having a good time.
Again, it's one of those things, isn't it, where Marvel have done a version of Spider-Man, but it's more accessible in that you don't have to buy 30 books to understand what's going on. I mean, I think it crosses over with Miles Morales series at some point, but that would be, I don't know what's in the book, but I think anytime it does, that will be in this thing, so you shouldn't have to buy another book while you're reading it.
Right. And what's cool about this little epic collection, I think it has the crossover miniseries included in it that tied in with Spider-Woman as well as Silk.
Oh, cool.
They have a team up, which is a nice touch that they were thorough in kind of the mapping of the story, and they didn't just forget stories that aren't on the main title. Like, they made sure that you get a complete story as you're reading this. So I think it's a good price point, good amount of issues, and you'll get a good idea of whether or not you like this character. If you already have an affinity towards them, this is a good place to start.
Okay, nice. Cheers, dude.
There you go. Thank you.
So,
right, number 4?
It's my number 5.
Oh, is it already at 5?
That seems quick, which pretty much everyone I've ever been out with has said to me. My number 5 will shock and disappoint you, but maybe it won't. I don't know. So, dude, I love a good fringe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I know. Fringe.
What'd you say? Bangs.
You call it bangs.
Yeah, it's a fringe. So basically, you want a fringe there. So that'd be weird. That's styled. So basically, it's making me cough. Sorry.
There you go.
Okay, so I'm not a big Conan fan. I really, really don't like Conan. I've never liked Conan. I've never seen the appeal. It's a guy wearing a dead rabbit around his balls. I just don't. And he looks like he's got hair from a glam band. It's a really odd thing, and it's just.
He's got great fringes. I get why you brought him up.
Yeah, he has, doesn't he? He does look. I mean, like, I don't get the whole thing, but anyway, it's just that sort of that kind of weird masculine fantasy that has never really appealed to me. With a bit of magic, sword and sorcery, isn't it? Basically.
Yeah.
So, I did read some of the Marvel stuff. It put me off the character. Ablaze have released more direct adaptations of the old Robert E. Howard stuff, the original stories, the original novels. and they've made a series called The Sumerian, which is basically it's
Ah,
Conan.
yes. Yes, yes, yes.
So I don't, they copyright wise they couldn't get away with calling it Conan, but they could release it as The Sumerian. There were 2 stories in each book, series of 4 books, and they're releasing it as a box set.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
so it's
Shout out to pal Mike Ruth, a local artist here who did some covers for that series.
no
He's a
way.
huge Conan fan, yeah, so it was pretty big for him to be able to put
Sorry,
a
dude.
cover
Sorry
together.
for insulting your friend Conan.
You know what? I never grew up on the character myself, but all my pals are Conan fans.
Really? What is
They
it with
just,
Conan?
I think it's a mixture of everything. It's just the barbarian, it's the sword and sorcery. I think it's the fact that the mythology of Robert E. Howard's creation. Like there's just all these different things. So it's by Crom. Like they just I don't know. They just love it. They just absolutely love it. And I get it. I don't know if you've read the Kurt Busiek, Carrie Nord
No,
stuff.
that was the only run I before this. The only run I wanted to read was that, and I missed
It's
it.
good.
I didn't know it was released in that massive format from Dark Horse a few years ago.
The Marvel has that omnibus collected. It's
I
good.
just don't want Marvel.
Oh, it's Dark Horse.
I know. No, I've done the same with Aliens. I have all the
Okay.
Aliens books. But yeah, I don't know. There's so many other things though. They've released too many books at the same time, and I think I was that close to getting it, but too
I
many
was pretty
books.
close to getting it, and I have it collected in Epic Collection. It's the one Conan that I have read. It's really good.
Is it?
It's good, yeah. It adapts a lot of the original. It adapts a lot of the original novels as well. Like
Yeah.
some of the stories are directly titled. I think, if I'm not mistaken, if for Conan fans, if anybody on the chat is a Conan fan, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's pretty faithful to um, Robert E. Howard's take. It's just Carrie Nord. It's just
I
perfect.
love Kerry Nord.
Yeah, it's great.
Absolutely
It's
love
great
him.
stuff. I would recommend that. I mean,
Cool.
you haven't liked a lot of the stuff that I recommended, but
That's not necessarily true.
not. I know, but I'm 50-50. But with Conan, again, it's a character I don't even really like,
No.
and it's
I think
it's good
I
stuff.
think we took the piss out of him before because I
Yeah.
don't get it. I think you're one of the comics fans that don't. A lot of people seem to be really excited when Marvel got Conan back, and I was just thinking,
Oh
I
man,
literally rolled
people
my
who
eyes.
love when people who love Conan love Conan. It's not. I don't know many middle of the road Conan fans. It's like super Conan fan or like, eh.
Yeah, I always
So,
imagine him though going, "Get to the chopper." I can't do the voice, but you know what I mean. And that wasn't that film, was it? What film was that? Commando. It can't have been Conan. You know,
get to the chopper. I think
they got
that's True
axes.
Lies.
Get to the chopper.
Oh no, it might be.
Was it
I think
Commando?
you're right. I think it's Commando. I'm thinking of Dana. The bridge is out. That's True Lies.
That's the second time I've heard you do an impression.
I do quite a few actually. I'm actually
Dude.
at work known as the guy who does really good impressions of people.
You need to do it more. I just do all shit impressions here, and you let me.
I'm gonna get you one of these days. One day it's just gonna be me and I'm gonna do an audio on the Cave of Solitude again. I'm gonna do both of us talking back and forth. Like, is that really Dave?
I could just.
I'll get
I'll
it.
have a week
I'll
off
get it.
next week, and you can do both.
Okay. So that was your number 5. the
That's
Conan
my number
pick.
5. 680 pages of Conan in a box set. The Sumerian in a box set from Ablaze.
Nice. That's cool. Very cool. All right. My number 5. What's left on the list? Well, there's 2 pretty big ones. I'm not good. I'm gonna go with 3 Jokers, Absolute Edition.
Oh, interesting.
Big fan of Jeff Johns. Big fan of Jason Fabok. Hopefully I say your name right. Another guy that's I would consider a local superstar. He lives not too far away, but he's often at shows and comic book signings in the local area. So I like to shout him out and give him. He doesn't need it, but he's huge.
He is huge.
Yeah, he's really made it to a point where he's even said, like, I just want to work on the stuff that I want to decide my schedule now, and that's where he's wanted to be, which is like that's a pretty sweet gig.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing him at shows and like early pages of the three Jokers, where I'm like, so how's it coming? He's like, I'm taking my time, but here's one of the pages. So it's cool to when you see the project finally done,
Yeah.
and now it's kind of getting the different treatments of collected editions and whatnot. I'm not super. My memory for the story isn't so sharp.
Same.
I don't know if you've read it. I
Yeah.
didn't hate it. That's for sure. But Jason Fabok's artwork is quite pleasant to the eye for me. I enjoy his stuff quite a bit.
His stuff is just undeniably gorgeous.
Yeah, it really is.
But
it's top notch.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think, like you say, I don't remember the story that well either. I think the thing is, it'd been such a long time coming as well.
Yeah.
Because wasn't the reveal at the end of the Darkseid storyline at the end of New 52 Justice League? And it was years before we found what the answer was.
Years.
So, like, there was so much build-up.
And I don't even know the answer.
No, I can't remember the answer. I think I remember what the answer is.
What is it?
I'm not going to spoil it.
Okay, tell me after.
All right.
Yeah, it was, again, I'm not, the reason why I suggest this book for, like, well, you don't even remember the story. How could you suggest it? One, Jeff Johns is a great writer, one of my favorites. Fabok's a great artist, and in the Absolute Edition, you're going to really get a feast for the eyes. It's more of, in this case, a way to really appreciate. Are you looking? You got it already? You trying to grab a?
I've got it here somewhere, but I've only got the.
You got the trade, right?
I've got
the
hardcover.
Yeah, there you go. That's the book.
This is art.
Like, pretty great.
Doesn't do it justice, really.
Doesn't do it justice. No, it doesn't. You got to and so this was a passion project for him, something that he took his time on. And when you get the Absolute, Dave, I don't know if you've got an Absolute that you could kind of showcase how much bigger the art. I don't have Absolute editions.
I just do. Keep talking.
Just to see how much more of a what's the word?
Beast.
Yeah, a beast. But even just like the ratio of the artwork that you're really going to get a feel for. And this is a book that it pays off. Yeah.
I'm going to move the mic.
There you go. See, that's a big difference. And when the book has artwork like this, definitely worth it to get an Absolute edition if you're an Absolute buyer. Yeah, that's significant. It's significant. So
it's pretty different.
And it's Batman.
It's Batman.
Everybody loves Batman.
Batman. As we discovered the other week.
That's right.
Thanks again by the way, thanks to everyone who's messaged us about the Batman episode. You. That was brilliant. Such a nice surprise. But yeah, I mean, if you're watching the show and loving it, or even just liking it slightly, feel free to shout about it, post about it. It really, really helps to get people to know that we're here. It's tough out there.
It is. We really appreciate even those little messages that people send to give you like a little boost of confidence or support or appreciation. It makes your day.
It does.
It really does. And so thank you to everybody who reaches out and is enjoying the show. Yay. There you go. There's another 10 books for people to look out for in May.
Do you want me to shout a couple out that I think are worth a one-liner? I'm going to try and keep this short. I'm not going to do the crazy list like I did the other week. That was insane. There's a new World of Black Hammer Library Edition coming from Dark Horse, which is Volume 5. That stuff is awesome. If you haven't jumped on Black Hammer, you will get a chance to pick up the trade paperback versions of the library editions, which will be cheaper, but still nice and chunky. It's an awesome series. It's very atmospheric. So yeah, World of Black Hammer is coming out. DC are releasing a ton of stuff in relation to the James Gunn films that have been announced, including a lot of Batman and Son related stuff. So Batman and Son trade, Batman and Robin Volume 1, which is the what's his name, Nightwing, when he became Batman, basically, and had
the Grant Morrison.
Yeah,
and
Frank Whiteley, was it?
Frank Whiteley, that's right. Yep, that's right.
There's a bunch of Shazam books as well, but Wonder Woman, Paradise Lost, and Paradise Found are also coming out, which I think is in relation to the James Gunn stuff, but it's all by Phil Jimenez, I think. It's the two initial runs that he did on the book. If you've got his omnibus, you won't need those. Just go read that. On top of that, there's plenty of interesting stuff out there. I know that a lot of people will be interested in the Department of Truth Complete Conspiracy Deluxe Edition, which is by James Tynion. I'm not. I'm not. The Marvel have got the Incredible Hulk Peter David Omnibus Volume 5, which finishes all of his Hulk stuff. So it would have been on my list, but I need to shut up talking about Peter David all the time. Zenoscope have an interesting thing called Zenoscope Horror Box Set. I really don't know what it is, but they have really nice art on their stuff. I just don't know much about Zenoscope, but it did kind of intrigue me. Also, Vault are re-releasing Barbaric in trade paperback form, because like Barbaric has gone nuts. So it's about a barbarian type character again with an axe with a face that is really lippy, so it can talk. And it's gone a bit nuts for Barbaric. So, yeah, they're re-releasing volumes 1 and 2, and there's a spin-off series coming out later in the year, I think, as well, in terms of collected editions. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that. Get on that and don't miss it, because it sounds like it's going to be a bit of a winner. Also, Street Angel Princess of Poverty by Jim Rugg, and I'm just really intrigued by his stuff, because I keep watching Cartoon Kayfabe. So I do want to give that a look. I was going to get it for my daughter, but I think it's a 12, but it's about a skateboarding homeless girl, I think, who I don't know much more about it. I don't know if she solves crimes or something.
I've never fully listened to a Cartoon Kayfabe.
No,
I recommend it. I heard it's really good.
Yeah, sometimes I will stay on it longer than other times. It depends what they're talking about, but there's plenty there.
Cool.
To kind of pick and choose from. But yeah, and they're fans. It's Jim Rugg and, oh dear God, help me out,
Ed Piskor?
Ed Piskor, of course. I'm Ed Piskor.
Cool.
Yeah. They're just really fun to listen to, because they love their stuff. So, yeah, I haven't read enough of the other bits that are coming out to be able to recommend anything, but they're the books I'd recommend. I was weirdly intrigued by Mad Balls versus Garbage Pail Kids. But that's the 80s kid in me, but I probably wouldn't buy it.
Do we have any recommendations on the chat?
On the chat, Volume 2 of Hickman's... Thank you, dude. Volume 2 of Hickman's Avengers is on K-Fire's May list. Thank you for that, K-Fire, for that recommendation. Hickman's, as everyone knows, I love Hickman's Avengers as well. So... Are you kidding? Yeah, I don't. But it's very popular. So if you did miss it the first time, it's coming out again. So it's well worth the shout. Yeah, that's it from me.
Nice. I have Thunderbolts Volume 3 Omnibus coming out.
Of course it is.
Which I think I love what I've read so far. And I'm still not finished the first volume. I'm just about finished that. But I hear from many people who love the series that it only gets better. I think it wraps up the Fabian run. Yeah, it does.
Help me out. Dub it.
Fabian Itchy. Well, you know what? I don't even pronounce it right, and he told me how to say his name right. Man. Once. Yeah. So
sorry, Fabian.
I'm not even going to correct
Fabian. Yeah. I think it's the end of Fabian's run.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. So that'll be the full set then with 3 volumes.
Yes. As far as yes, exactly. And the other thing that I had listed was Ask for Mercy from Richard Starkings.
Yeah.
It looks really pretty.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it's about. It's another World War II sort of horror story.
Yes.
So in the tradition of John Carpenter's The Thing and Neil Gaiman's The Sandman, it's Ask for Mercy is a World War II fantasy story in that tradition. Another team of monster hunters who are actually monsters themselves, and together they have to take on a pantheon of hideous creatures summoned to our world by Nazi evil. Sounds like Creature Commandos, but
it does. Funnily enough, I was looking at that the other day. Just kind of like, oh my God, that looks absolutely beautiful. I don't know enough to know, but it looks great. And actually, Volume 2 is out later in the year as well. So if you get into it, of Ask for Mercy, yeah. So it's not a long wait for the next book. I don't know how many they're likely to be. They're also actually Grendel Omnibus Volume 4, which is the last omnibus of that collection, is coming out in May. We were just talking about Matt Wagner. There you go. Yeah. We did it. Woo! Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, whether you're on Twitch, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Rate and review the show on whatever platform you're listening to us on. Let us know what you'd like to hear more of, what we could do better, what you like that we're doing.
And yeah, stay tuned for more. We got more interviews every week. We got the live. We got good stuff coming. And the website, Omniverse Comics.
Yep. You want reading orders?
Guide.
Go to Omniverse Comics Guide. Omniverse Comics
They're the best.
Guide.
They're the best. I put my money on it. Dave makes the best reading orders on the internet.
Get out of here, you.
No, it's the truth. All right, everybody. Dave, sleep well.
I will.
Shout out.
You too.
Shout out to Misha.
She's
super
asleep.
producer.
Sleepy producer.
All right, everybody. Take care. Dave, peace out.
Night, Data. See you later.